Hi everybody, Patty Ann here. Listen, I've got something new to show you today. New to me anyway. I'm brand new at this, so I hope you don't ask too many questions while I'm live here, but I'll try to answer them as best I can. Here's the thing. This morning, just this morning, I purchased the stuff to make my Epson printer into a sublimation printer. And the reason I decided to do that was because you guys have been making such fabulous stuff using sublimation. And I've not tried it yet, so I thought I'll give it a try. But until then, yesterday I got in the mail some new transfer paper. And this stuff is fabulous. I've only used it once, but so far I'm impressed. It's called Jet Pro. Let's see if this can focus. SS. Jet Pro SS heat transfer paper. I'm going to show you why I really like it. Now, you need to know that this one was done on a black t-shirt. So of course it used a different material than what I'm going to show you on the white. But the thing is, it feels like vinyl. It's really vinyl-y, you know? But this one, on the other hand, that I just made, OMG, you guys, this is gorgeous. It does not feel vinyl-y. It's very soft and pliable, and I don't think it's going to crack. Last year, I don't know if you remember or not, but I made some snowmen from Frozen, I think it was. Anyway, I made them out of the printable vinyl. I'm sure you can find the video for it down below somewhere. But anyway, I noticed that it started cracking after a while. I mean, I was really bummed. You know, I washed it a few times and the vinyl just started cracking. So I don't think this is going to happen to this. But anyway, my point today was I want to tell you about the new product I'm trying, new to me, and I want to show you how to make this really super cute sweatshirt. Of course, if you're not a grandma, it just doesn't have to say grandma can say anything you want. But anyway, follow me to my desktop and let's get started. Okay, my sister, you remember Jean Frieda when she used to always send me those things of stuff to make? She happened to see this and thought it was really cute and sent it to me. And I thought, you know, that is really, really cute. I'm sure that they use sublimation for this, but I was wondering if I could use this new paper, heat transfer paper that I got before my sublimation stuff comes in. So I took a screenshot of this so I could remember what it looked like, and I thought I was going to try to duplicate the pumpkin myself. Not duplicate it, but to kind of replicate it, make my own. But lo and behold, when I was looking around on the internet, check it out, look what I found. And I'm going to have the link for you guys down below for this. Check it out. It's the exact pumpkin that she used. So I'm going to show you how to make it with grandma inside, because my grandkids call me grandma. And you can put anything inside yours that you want. It could be even for a sign and put your name in there if you put it on wood or something like that. I don't know the on wood. I don't know. I'd have to think about that for a minute because this is that heat transfer stuff. But anyway, let's imagine you're going to put something on it for clothing. And I think that this stuff says it works really well if you have some polyester in your piece of clothing that you're using. However, in the piece that I showed you, it was totally 100% cotton that I used. So let's get busy again. Going back to my computer screen and Silhouette. So here's the pumpkin that I brought in. When you first bring this pumpkin in, it is huge. So the first thing you'll want to do is lock the lock right here and change it to maybe like 7 inches wide. Okay. The next thing that I did with my pumpkin was I just went ahead and I wonder if I should do this now. This is what I did now. I got the knife tool, held down my space or my shift key so I could make a nice straight slice across here. So if you'll notice, my knife key is on solid and it's on straight and it's on auto apply. So now that's already been applied. So let's move this out and move it off. And I noticed some stuff came loose over here. I'm not exactly sure why, but I'll move this one over also. And now I'm just going to grab all this extra junk that's left back here and hit delete on my keyboard. So we are already on our way to doing this. The next thing that I did on mine was I came over here to the text tool and clicked on that and then typed in the word grandma. And I noticed that the sample that we're kind of following was all in capital letters like that. And then I'm going to click off of it, click back on, and come over here to the text style panel so I can easily change the font. Now, if you're not sure which font you want to use, you can click down here to where it says all fonts. And then if you just hit the down arrow on your keyboard while I'm hitting that, look what's happening to the word grandma over there. It's automatically just scrolling through those. So, but I know which one I want to use because I've already done this, and I just used Times New Roman, just like that. Now, on the sample, she made this part white. Since we're putting this on a white shirt, we're not going to make it white. I'm going to make it a pretty purpley color and stretch this out first. That might kind of match the purple down here. So, this is so easy, you guys. I'm going to click on that word grandma and come up here to the upper left-hand corner to the paint swatch area, get the eyedropper, and come down here and pick a color that I like. There's a good color. So there it is. So far, so good. The next thing I'm going to do, and I might stretch this just a little bit further. There we go. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write my twin grandbabies' names. But you know what? Instead of doing that, I think I'll put in Tammy's grandbabies' names. And they are Connor and Carter. So I'm going to come over here to the left-hand side and get the letter A again and come here and start typing Carter. He's the older. I'm going to not do it in all caps this time. Carter, and then I'll do Connor. And I'm going to leave it right like that for now, because I'm going to click off and click back on and come over here to a free font that I have, and I bet a lot of you do too. It's called I Love Glitter. So I'm just going to type that in here. Oh, there we go. I Love Glitter. It should be right here. There it is. It's highlighted. And it made it automatically change to I Love Glitter. Now, a nice thing about using Silhouette software is this. Let's go back to where it said I Love Glitter. I shouldn't have gotten off of that. Okay, hit enter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the glyphs in I Love Glitter. So you don't have to have a special program or anything to be able to get these glyphs. You just click on the G right here in the text style panel, and it shows all of the glyphs. Now, you can make them a lot larger too if you want to. So what I'm going to do, and I know in the sample, she had between the two names, and she had between the two names the little heart that was filled in. Not this one, but the one that was filled in. So I'm going to keep looking. There it is. So I'm going to click on that. If I double click, it puts it in right here. And now what I can do is, I could have ungrouped these now. It's not really what I wanted to do though. But I can. And I can ungroup them and then add them both together like this. And what I'd probably do then is grab all of this stuff and say align to the bottom. I must not have had that selected. Okay, so there it says Carter and Connor. And I could probably go through here and change some other things if I wanted to find a different letter that I liked better maybe. But rather than waste your time on that, I'm just going to leave it as it is like this. And group all this together, and I'm going to say weld. Okay, now it's all one piece. Well, I thought it would be all one piece. That must not have been touching. So let's see, weld. No, it's not. So I am going to go to group it. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to resize this so it's going to fit on the word grandma pretty nicely. Like that, I guess. And you might be saying it's really hard to see that, and you're right, it is. But we're going to fix that. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to offset this. With this selected, I'm going to come to the offset tool right here, and I'm just going to say offset. And that might be a little bit bigger than what I want, so I can make it a little smaller if I'd like. Okay, maybe about like that. And then I'll drag this piece away, and I'm going to bring this right over here on top of my grandma. But before I do that, I am going to add some color to it so it's easier to see. There we go. And now I can see how that's going to work there. And if I want to, I can come over here to this paint palette and change the transparency of that a little bit so I can see what's happening. So let's scroll in and scroll. There we go. Let's see. Do we like that? I want it to still look like the word. I think that'll work pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select that, hold down my shift key and select the word grandma, and then just come over here to the modify panel and say subtract. So what that did was it subtracted that stuff out of there. Now I am going to group this together before I mess anything up. I'm going to say group. Before I group though, you know what? A couple little pieces here I could just delete if I want to, because they're really not necessary. You remember, I'm getting the points, and once they're white I can delete them. All right, now I'm going to group this, and then I'm going to scroll back out so I can, well, maybe I'll just scroll over this way so I can get the text. And I'm going to change it to black. Well, I'm going to change it to black. Then I'm going to bring it right over here and put it into place. Look how good that looks. All right, put this piece back and this piece back. And now let's scroll out and see what we have. Okay, I think that looks super cute. Now, just so happens that both Tammy's grandbabies are boys, so she might want to change this color of this to a boy color. So she could go back to the eyedropper and maybe get a boyish color for the backing of that if she likes that better. But you can't use white because anything that's white is just going to be the shirt showing up. But that's pretty much all there is to it now. All I would do is group this. However, since I'm going to use this as basically kind of like a print then cut, I need to set up my page. Come up here to the page setup panel, and first of all, I know that that new paper I'm going to use is a certain size, and it's 8.5 by 11. So I'm going to change that to that size. The next thing I have to do is add the registration marks, just like that. And there's one more thing I want to do, because I don't want my machine to cut around this like this. I want it to cut around as big offset. So I'm going to click on this, come over to the offset panel and say offset. And I know for my offset, I'm going to want to make it about a 0.5, I think it is. Or maybe it's bigger than that. Let's check. There's a 0.5. Oh, that might be a little bit too big. I make it a little bit smaller. I wonder if a 0.4 will work. Whoops. 0.45 maybe? Okay, let's see. How about a point? My machine's lagging a little bit, and I think that's because I have the recording working as well. All right, so that went like that. So we'll just leave it like that. That looks pretty good, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and click the offset, the outermost thing, and I know it's selected because it's transparent. I'll just make it white. And it looks like I'm going to turn on my lines to make sure everything's fitting within the lines properly. So I'm coming back to the page setup panel, show the print border and show the cut border. Now notice, oh my gosh, this stuff's so close to the print and cut border. The outermost one, the gray one, is the print border. So this stuff would all still print. The cut border is the red one. So if this was cutting, it would come over here and cut like this, and it would stop here. And then it would jump up to here and cut this little bit and stop, and then come here again. That's not what I want it to do. So I'm going to group all this together. Just going to make it smaller, make my life easy. All right, let's see. Is that going to fit now? Almost. Okay, that's going to fit. So what I'll do now is I'll just go ahead and print this. So I'm going to come up to my printer, File, Print, and I'm going to leave this on Print. I'm going to change my preferences. Paper cassette 1. I'm going to change it to regular print paper. I'm going to change it to high for my settings and see how that worked. The first one I did at standard. I'm going to change this one to high and see how it is. I don't know if you noticed something, but since this is a heat transfer thing, I almost made a huge mistake, and that is this. I got to cancel this. I need to flip this horizontally. I like to do it here. I never do it later on. I always do it here. So I'm going to right click and say flip horizontally. It has to be mirrored. And now I'm going to go to File and Print. And Print. And change my preferences again to plain paper and high. I'll say OK. Print. And this is going to print for me. You'll hear it over there. And when it's done printing, I'll be back to show it to you. Okay, here's the final product. So I did print it, and I actually already cut it too. You know, the registration marks that were on my paper here, and my Cameo read these and knew exactly where this was, so then it cut it out perfectly. Whoopsie. Careful. Don't go too fast because this is thin paper, so you don't want to go too fast. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this over and I'll iron it onto my t-shirt. So when I iron it on, I'm going to put it this way, upside down onto my t-shirt, and I'm going to put a piece of Teflon, a Teflon sheet over top. I will iron this at a nice heavy pressure with my heat press. You can't use just a regular household iron, I've heard. So I'm thinking maybe not even the Cricut press. You need a heat press. Do it for 350 degrees for 30 seconds. And then it's supposed to be a hot peel. And I'll show you what happens next. Okay, I have my piece right here, and I'm ready to put it on. I'm preheating my heat press to 350 degrees, and I'm going to press it for 30 seconds. But before I do so, I've already put this towel here. I have a 100% cotton towel, one of those flour sacks, because I don't have another white t-shirt that I can make for Tammy, so I'm just going to do this. So I'm going to bring this over like this and preheat that to get the moisture out. At least that's what we're told. It gets the moisture out. And of course, we can see that it gets the wrinkles out. You could do this for about 5 seconds or so. And I like this one. It's a swing away. Not only does it swing away, but this can pull out as well to let me have more area to work on. Now, when you put this down, you put it face down on your fabric or on your shirt, just like that. So I'm looking through to see, do I have it pretty well lined up? I do, actually. So if these are pretty well straight, the lines should be good. So I'm going to push this back, push this back in. Well, first I'll cover it. I'm going to cover it with my Teflon sheet to help hold it in place. Push this back in. Bring this over. It's at 350 degrees now, so I'll just do this and make sure I have this tight enough for 30 seconds. See my little buddies back here while you're waiting. The little chain around his neck was one of the things that I had done with the faux leather when I was practicing with that. Just threw it around him. Whoops. So you got 5 more seconds. All right. Stop that. I'll move this over, hopefully, out of the way. And hopefully you'll be able to see well enough when I bring this out. I'll work right here. Hopefully you can see. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just start peeling this off. And someone said once you start, you should do a quick peel. I don't know if that's true or not. Now, my paper's tearing up a little bit. The first time I did this, it didn't. But people say that's okay. It's not a problem. Just keep peeling it off. All right. So that's done. It's awfully cool, though. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to place it back on here, my heat press, which you really can't see, but take my word for it. I'm going to heat it back up again, because this is part of the secret of this, I think. You heat it back up again for about 10 seconds or so. Okay, take it back out. And now what you're supposed to do is stretch this. And it really stretches if you're using a t-shirt, of course. Not as much if you're using a cloth like this. But this is supposed to help make it get softer. Okay. And there is the finished product. So let's see. Kind of fold it up like this, and you can kind of get a look at it. Thanks so much for joining me, you guys. I'll have the links below to the products that I used in case you want to see them. Also, the link for the free, it's not free. It costs $5. But what a deal compared to that t-shirt that you could make or buy for 21 something. So, hope you liked the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And I'll see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.